Hello, today I'm with Diane Deshler, who's one of the 4 candidates for CASBO Vice President. Diane is the Chief Business Official at the Lafayette School District, and I've had the privilege of working with her for several years in a variety of roles at CASBO, including being a section president and being a member of our board of directors. So welcome, Diane. So the first question I want to ask you is, tell me about your career in school business.
Well, thank you, Molly. My career in school business started before I actually worked at a school district. I was working as an executive chef for George Lucas at Skywalker Ranch in Marin County because after graduating from University of California at San Diego, I decided to go back and I went to professional chef school. And while working as a chef, I was asked to sit on a task force with the California Department of Education called Kids Cooking Week. And we developed a curriculum to get kids cooking in the classroom. And I was asked to go to a elementary school in Alameda in the Bay Area and help with the press event to do the kickoff. And it was, really fun, and I loved working with the kids. It was like nothing I'd ever done. I'd always worked with adults. And they were asked a lot of questions. They wanted to know about the food. They wanted to know how it tasted. They wanted to know about me. They wanted to know if I was married. I was, single at the time. But I remember driving back to work, back to Skywalker Ranch, and thinking how different I felt. I'd always worked, I'd always liked my job, but it really had an impact on me in a way I didn't realize at the time. So what happened? Because of that day, these kids had me hooked. So just a few months later, I called the director of food services at Alameda, and I asked her how I could do her job. And she became my mentor. Wow. And less than a year later, I had a job as a food service supervisor at a large K-12 school district. So really, I feel like my first day in schools began back when I was still an executive chef in private industry.
Wow.
So from that time, I worked for several years. I moved on to be a director of food services in a couple of school districts. And then my next job became, I think, very interesting. I became the director of food services, custodial services, and co-director of safety. And going from one department to 3 is a stretch, which I like. I'm a learner. I want to learn new things. But learning about custodial services wasn't just about cleaning classrooms. It was about how do you resurface gym floors? How do you bring an environmental company to clean wrestling mats? How do you schedule facilities for swim meets? But I had been a member of CASBO for a long time, and so CASBO all along has really helped with my professional development to grow and expand. And then I moved on to being the chief business official. But I think my experiences in school business that were really different from private industry that mean the most to me are the people that I've worked with. I remember working with the custodial staff we worked in a high school district, and each custodian had a set of classrooms, and there's like 3 or 4 large whiteboards in these classrooms, and they each knew exactly how each teacher wanted their whiteboards cleaned. And I'm thinking, how can you take the time to do this? And why is it so important? But they took so much pride in what they did because they wanted their teacher to be happy with their classrooms so they could be ready for their students. The same thing in working with food services. In private industry, it's really about the job and the performance and what you're doing, but with the people who work in child nutrition, they really bring students into the cafeteria. They have warm, welcoming smiles. They provide delicious, nutritious food, and they send them off to the classrooms where they'll be ready to learn. And these were experiences that I think really made it so important for me to continue in school business. And today I'm a chief business official. This is my 4th year. I'm in charge of finance, budget development, bond, facilities, food service, maintenance, operations, grounds. But it's really been my experiences with the people that I think are, really important to me and how we are here to support the success of students in education.
And why do you think that you are a good choice for leadership at CASBO?
I've been involved with CASBO for many years, and I have met so many smart, innovative, and warm, friendly professionals in our industry at all these CASBO meetings and events, activities, through volunteering. And I really feel motivated by these people to run for the office of Vice President. As you said, I'm currently on the board of directors as the Northern Section Director. I've been president of the Northern Section, so I've done a lot of involvement and worked in a lot of leadership roles with the Northern Section. I've been a professional council chair at the section level. I've been a professional council member, so I understand how sections work and run, and I've sat in those chairs. I've been now on the CASBO Board of Directors, and I've also sat on CASBO State Committee. I was the chair of the Professional Standards and Leadership Committee. It was the first state committee I was on, and that was really wonderful experience because it showed me how state works and operates in a way that's very different from the section, equally important, and then how they work together. I've been on other state committees. I've presented at annual conference. I've presented at CASBO CBO boot camp. So I feel like the combination of these experiences has helped me prepare for what I want to do next. Okay. I've also worked in many capacities of our members. I've worked, like I told you, throughout my job experiences in many of the areas where our professional council members are. And then also in my former life as a chef, I was a member of a National Speakers Bureau through the American Institute of Wine and Food. And I got to travel and participate for over 2 years. I traveled around the country several times a year, and I spoke to audiences of over 200 people, and I actually did cooking demonstrations and speaking. I also was a keynote speaker at some education conferences in relation to healthy cooking and food, and I've done live TV and live radio. And also, I think I make a good choice because, I believe leadership is about leading by example. It's about promoting people's strengths. It's about teamwork and also listening and collaborating. And it's about working with a good organization. And these are all things that sound like CASBO to me.
And that kind of leads us into the next question about how has CASBO directly impacted your career?
I've been a member of CASBO a long time, and I would say the most recent experience, the way it's impacted me, has been becoming a chief business officer. When I was the director of food and custodial services, my boss was the CBO, and at that time, after several years, I was wondering, well, what's my next step? Because with me, I knew there'd be another step. So I decided to enter the FCMAC CASBO CBO Mentor Program. It's a year-long program. It's very intensive, and I'm proud to say I'm a graduate of cohort number 8. But that wasn't all it took. It also took, following that, going to the CASBO CBO Symposium, going to the annual conference, and going to all the breakout sessions, and not just CBO, but HR, facilities, maintenance, whatever it was I needed to learn. It meant putting myself out there and learning and getting 2 mentors, not just 1 mentor. And all those things around the CASBO is what really got me to where I am, to being in my 4th year as a chief business official. And the other piece to that is that it doesn't stop. It's not like this is it. It's like I need to continue to do all of those things and more to continue to succeed in my job today.
And what do you see as the future of CASBO and where we're going as an association?
I'm really excited about where CASBO is today and where we're headed for the future. CASBO, it's a thriving organization. Completed a new strategic plan, CASBO by Design 2.0. I'm on that committee. I was on a previous committee several years past. And, besides the obvious of you update your mission and vision and goals, I think what was really important that came out of these 3 days of meetings was that every voice, I think, in CASBO membership was represented. Mm-hmm. You had people from every professional development strand. You had brand new members, you had seasoned veterans, you had leadership, you had county office, you had charter school members, you had you know, large and small districts, because I think one of the things about the future of CASBO, and we talked a lot about this in these meetings, and we talk a lot about this even in my own section, is how do we bring on new members and how do we continue the services for people that we don't even know are here now. Mm-hmm. It's not just that we're strong now, but we want to continue to do that. So part of that is, you know, we want to continue to update how we use technology because it's so hard to keep going, or with professional development, which is a big part of what we do, but it's like the learning modalities in today's society, or what's going on in the classroom. Can we do some of that, you know, and how do we create that? So all of that is very exciting. And when I look into the future of CASBO, I see us with even more momentum and more strength. You know, I'm really passionate about what CASBO is doing, and I know we can continue to succeed, and it will be with our future members.
I agree. And one of the parts currently, we have so many new members in CASBO, and we have so many people transitioning into school business. What advice would you have for those people who are just entering the profession? I would say join CASBO, and take advantage of everything it has to offer. You know, I've done this a few times. I've moved to a couple of different districts where CASBO hasn't been really a part of that organization. And it's a slow process for people to learn what CASBO has to offer. But what I would really say is, you know, join your section and volunteer, whether it's just volunteer on a committee and join your professional council that's related to what you're doing. If you're in payroll, go to payroll, risk management. I would say start there. You could join a state committee. I would say attend some meetings and meet new people. I can remember even before I was a CASBO member back, you know, when I was a chef and I belonged to other organizations, I was told you need to go and meet new people. Do not stand in the room with the one person you know. And it takes a lot of courage to do that. It does.
But meet new people, they're gonna really help you. Get a mentor. CASBO is all about mentorship. It's a big part of who we are, but find a mentor perhaps within your organization and one outside of your organization, somebody that you can trust and bounce ideas off, whether it's a technical mentor or just somebody to talk about what goes on during the day. I also think that something I can tell others that I might not be that good at is the work-life balance. You know, everything in school districts, budgets have been cut year after year. We're not in good financial times, and it's like, don't forget you have friends, you have a family, and you know, we're all here. We're going to be here a long time, and I think overall happy, healthy employees is what we all want. Again, attend meetings, you know, get some training, take an online learning class if that's all you have time for, look at certifications. And really, you know, we're here to support our students, and I feel good about it, and hopefully, you know, as a new member, you can kind of look at what you do, whether you're on a school site or in the district office. We do touch students with how we work. So, you know, ask questions, meet new members, and take advantage of this big support we have in our CASBO network, you know, because we're here for you.
That's true. Very true. Thank you, Diane.
Thank you, Molly.